Hey everyone. So today I'm going to start getting into privacy a bit. I often talk about getting into or using Bitcoin more privately, and I use this as it needs to be known. People need to know how to use Bitcoin privacy privately because it's not anonymous as it's not called anonymous very much anymore. But back in the day in 2013, 2014, when I was much earlier on in Bitcoin, people would often newspapers would always say Bitcoin is anonymous, and it's not anonymous. It's pseudonymous, which means there's no system of identity internal to Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that everything that happens is anonymous within it, because if your identity becomes attached to one address, then whatever happens to the coins that are at that address are probably you, right? So it's not it's a public database and your addresses are known. It doesn't have privacy technology in it inherently on the base layer, but there are ways to go about things privately. So, what I want to start with is just buying some Bitcoin without KYC. Now, what is KYC? KYC is Know Your Customer, and it's something that has become more and more. It's a egregious violation of everything good and holy in the world, and it's something that increasingly happens every time you make a transaction with another human being. It's very annoying. If you don't use cash and you're going and buying food or whatever, and just groceries or fuel or anything like that, if you're using a credit card or a debit card, you are known. Your identity is known. It's all in a database somewhere, and it's all accessible somehow. If you use cash, then not necessarily, but there's usually cameras in petrol stations and things like that. But it is possible in today's world to go and buy, a pack of AA batteries for, $10 cash, and walk in there in a COVID mask and all that, and then you pretty much that's basically the only level in which you can do something without your identity being known. And the reason I say it's so violating and so awful is because databases get hacked, and your identity is something, what you're doing with your money is private for a very good reason. A great example of this is Bitcoin itself. People have bought these hardware wallets called ledgers, and when they bought them from Ledger had their name and address and email address and all that stuff, probably credit card number as well, that they used to buy the Bitcoin hardware wallet. They kept all that data as per the KYC policy, and that database got leaked, and now there's a massive database out there with a list of names and addresses of people that probably own some Bitcoin. That's a disaster, and it only happens because of these stupid KYC policies. The best companies in the Bitcoin space do what they can to minimize that, because unfortunately, to be legal, they have to do this stuff. Excuse me. So that said, Bisq is what I'm going to start with, and that is a platform. That is a platform for buying. Let's see what I've got here. Yeah, this is a platform for buying and selling Bitcoin and shitcoins, I do admit, but you can. This is a way to buy Bitcoin without sacrificing your identity. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not. It's called a decentralized exchange. It's not a centralized exchange. Centralized exchanges always end up with KYC policies, because in order to be able to not shut down by the government, they have to comply with the laws, and the laws always say, okay, if you're buying and selling Bitcoin, if you're allowing people to trade, you need them to upload a picture of their driver's license or passport and a utility bill, and sometimes even further stuff. Bitstamp and exchanges like that will require you to write practically an essay about where your income comes from, what you plan to do with the Bitcoin you're going to buy. All this stuff is done, it's like COVID measures. It's all done for the illusion of safety, but it doesn't help anyone, and it just violates everyone's liberties. So there is no rationale for that. If you think there is, I don't know why you're watching this channel at this point, because I must be incredibly annoying to you if you think government's helping out in sort of these kinds of ways could ever do anything but harm. But anyway, so as I said, I thought it was time to demonstrate some of how we might do it. So here's a list of current offers for the GBP Bitcoin pair. So this is the British pound. Let's start with the US dollar, right? So if you want to buy some Bitcoin for the US dollar, everything's grayed out for me because I don't have any of these. Excuse me. Everything's grayed out for me because I don't have any of these US dollar payment methods available to me. I'm not a US citizen. But you can see there's a few offers at 0%, which is actually amazing. I was hoping that I could demonstrate another point I wanted to make in this video, but I'm not going to be able to, given that there's such cheap Bitcoin available. Now this is cheaper than buying on a centralized exchange. So this is pretty amazing, I've got to say. If you want to buy and pick up some, when you buy on an exchange like Bisq, I should explain how it works. It's not completely anonymous, because there's still someone else with the Bitcoin, and they're still, depending on how you buy, if it's through some sort of bank transfer, they're still going to know your identity, but just them. That's it. They're not an exchange. They are not under any obligation to keep your details or anything like that. So yes, the person sitting on the other side could be a member of law enforcement, or they could be a drug dealer or something like that. The point is, you don't know, and they don't know either. So pretty much, I'd say, there's no such thing as perfect privacy when doing a transaction, unless you're doing a transaction with yourself, and I'm not going to get into that, though I am going to talk about Wasabi Wallet a bit later in this video. I hope it's not too much for the video. So what I want to do is I want to buy a little bit of Bitcoin on Bisq. Now, you'll see here that I have an available balance. I'm trying to highlight that, but I can't. In order to buy Bitcoin on Bisq, you need to already have some Bitcoin. Now, that might seem like a catch-22, but there are ways around compromising your identity to get that initial part of Bitcoin. The reason you need some Bitcoin in the first place is because this is a decentralized exchange. There is no trusted third party. It's basically designed in such a way as we need to trust each other. And we don't need to trust each other. We need to not have to trust each other. So I'm the buyer. I'm going to put some Bitcoin in an escrow. You are the seller. You're going to put some Bitcoin in an escrow. I am going to send some money to you via bank transfer, or maybe cash, or whatever. They support cash, Bisq. And when you confirm receiving the cash or the bank transfer, you release the Bitcoins to me. And if there's a problem, then, well, that's something I'm not going to get into too much, but I'll suffice it to say that I've never ever had a trade fail on Bisq. There's sufficient disincentive for people that want to be dishonest. You lose what's in escrow, basically. And people aren't on here to scam generally, so I'm very happy with the way it works. So, excuse me. So here's what we're going to do. Because I don't have a US dollar account, I'm not a US citizen, but I am a UK citizen. I'm going to try and buy some Bitcoins for pounds. Now, I was going to buy a very small amount, one of the offers way down here for like £80, but as you can see, that's 16.9% above market rate. You're paying let me just quit this. You're paying £39,000. So what's that? £39,000 to US dollar. You're paying $53,000 per Bitcoin, and the current price, as you can see here, is 46,600. So that's way over the odds. I don't really care if it's only £80 worth. It doesn't matter. I'm only getting maybe £65 worth of Bitcoin. But then I see this. I can buy £510 of Bitcoin for 0%. Now that's pretty interesting to me. One thing I should say, I guess I better put this in anyway, is you have to do 4 transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain every time you buy or sell on Bisq. Now that's a lot, and usually that would be really expensive, but blocks are basically empty right now. So that's why I've chosen now to do this video. So screw it, I can't resist. I'm going to buy £510 of KYC free Bitcoin on Bisq. So I'm going to take the offer to buy Bitcoin. It's going to check if the offer is still available. And here we go. Next step. And I'm going to transfer funds from Bisq wallet. So that's going to take some of this available balance and use that as escrow. So I've funded it, close, and now I'm going to review the offer. So it's, hopefully I'm not betraying any of my bank details here. There is one point where I'm going to betray it, but this is obviously not me getting KYC free Bitcoin, because I'm doing this in a video I'm going to upload. But, it is what it is. I'm happy to do it for the cause. So confirm, take offer to buy Bitcoin. Let's see what happens. So we're waiting for blockchain confirmation. I've decided to take the trade. There's a chat interface here. I'm going to say hi for no reason at all. Now, what have we got here? I'm going to keep this closed actually. So they've got 1 day now to accept. I think they're going to accept the trade. And what happens then is they put the money. No, they already have the money in, I believe. So some kind of transaction has to happen now. After which point it becomes okay for me to send them £510. And once I send them £510, then they have the remainder of whatever's left after they've done this bit. They have until 4:49 p.m. tomorrow to acknowledge or confirm receiving the money. If they don't, after I have actually sent it, then I'm in a sticky situation. But as I say, I've never had that happen before. I wish I could elaborate on how Bisq deals with scammers, but they changed the way they handle all that about a year ago, and I can't seem to get a good understanding of how it works exactly, but it works incredibly well from what I've seen because no one has ever tried to scam me on here. I think it's... It used to be a case where there were trusted arbiters that would receive some money if there was a dispute, so everyone was incentivized not to let it get to that. And now I think that doesn't happen because there's an element of trust involved in that. Who are these arbiters? So they're not there anymore, and I think they have to be chosen by the buyer and seller in an ad hoc fashion. I think it's something like that. Yeah, so hopefully this person responds fairly quickly. They are in the UK, so it's now almost 1 a.m. in the UK, so they might be asleep. If they are, I'm going to have to finish this video later. So the second thing I wanted to get into in this video was Wasabi. Now, Wasabi is a way of cleaning coins you already own, and that means you're breaking the link in the blockchain. So if you have coins sitting at address A and you move them to address B, that's no good, because if anyone knows the identity of the person who owned the coins at address A, they're going to be able to figure out if you're the owner of the coins once the coins move to address B, it might have the same owner because they're linked in the blockchain. You get to see the history of transactions as they move around. You get to see what happens to Satoshis. So here is something I prepared for this video. Can I open up this wallet? Yeah, here we go. So I've got a little bit of Bitcoin sitting here. I'm not going to be able to clean this because it's under the required amount for a coin join. Now let me explain what I'm talking about here. As I was saying, if you've got a coin sitting at address A and they move to address B, if your identity is known to be connected with address A, when they move to address B, there's a lot of, it's very easy for someone to figure out that the coins at address B belong to the person that owned them at address A, because we all know the history in the blockchain of how the coins moved. What a coin join is it's a giant transaction where you get something like, sometimes around 99 other people. Usually you do about 100 people in a round of a coin join. As you can see, there's 57 people in this round. And what happens is you all put in the same amount of Bitcoin. There's 100 inputs to it, and then there's 100 outputs where you all get the coins you put in, but rather than have address A to address B, you have address A all the way, or address 1, I should say, all the way up to address 100, and then outputs you have address 101 all the way to address 200. And if you were originally address 56 and you've gone to address 193, there's only a 1% chance that anyone trying to figure out your identity knows which one you were originally. And you can go again and again and again and keep adding more and more anonymity to it. So you can make it look like, we think Bitcoin Mechanic we know Bitcoin Mechanic had an account on Bitfinex and bought some Bitcoins here. But he did a coin join transaction and merged with 100 other people. So now we only have a 1% chance of knowing which one is his. And then he did it again. So we now, and each of those coins went through another 100. So it's now 100 times 100, 1 in 10,000, whether we have the right address or not. It very quickly becomes impractical to perform surveillance. And I remember these chain analysis companies that are working for the opposite team deciding that Wasabi wallet sucks, and it felt great, just like when the NSA said Tor sucks, because some things just make it really hard and expensive to target people, and mass surveillance of Bitcoin's blockchain is trivial to do if people don't use these practices, and basically impossible if people do. So I really want these practices to be used more. So what would happen here is, unfortunately, I don't have enough Bitcoin in here. I was going to add what I'd buy in Bisq, and then use the combined amount to reach the threshold for a coin join. This is a large amount of Bitcoin you need to go for a round of coin joining in Wasabi. It's true. You need 0.1 and then a little bit more Bitcoin. So about 10% above 0.1 actually. And 0.1 is $4,600 worth of Bitcoin. That's not a small amount. So I'm not going to lie when I say Wasabi is actually out of the realms of possibility for most people on the planet. And that's sad. But Wasabi will upgrade in the future and allow rounds of 0.01 instead, which will be, instead of $4,600, it will be $460. And hopefully we go down another order of magnitude again. And you can do it with $46 as well. Obviously, the price of Bitcoin going up all the time does mean this gets more and more ridiculous. For example, Wasabi's been around for years. It's been around since Bitcoin was $3,000. So $3,000, 0.1 Bitcoin was $300. That wasn't so ridiculous, but almost $5,000 to do a round of coin joining. To be clear, you're not spending $5,000, you're just cleaning $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. And if you don't have enough Bitcoin, you can't clean it. So yeah, this is Wasabi. There are other wallets out there that do this. There's Whirlpool, which is part of what Samurai do. I'm not going to get into Samurai because this is ridiculous, but they just drive me nuts. And as far as I can tell, they just seem to be they seem to be doing more harm than good. I don't know why they have the beef they do with Wasabi. Wasabi's excellent software. I like using it. Samurai have done some things I don't really want to get caught up in the flame war between Wasabi and Samurai, though I do generally consider Samurai to be the bad actors out of this whole thing, and they started it. But Samurai's Whirlpool, to their credit, does allow coin joins of 0.01 in their Whirlpool. And I think they do 0.1 as well. So there's more options there, though I think it's more easy to screw up with Samurai and accidentally ruin your anonymity afterwards. For example, with coin joining, you need to continue to observe best practices and not ruin your anonymity once it's done. For example, if you have 0.2 Bitcoins and you clean or coin join 0.1, and that goes through a mix and comes out, with a 1% chance of anyone being able to figure out that it came from that original 0.2 stack, you now have two stacks, one that's 0.1 that's been cleaned or coin joined, and another 0.1 that hasn't. And that, if those two recombine ever into a new UTXO, then you betray the anonymity. So once you've cleaned a coin, you have to keep it clean. And this is what we mean by coin control, which is something that's done really well in Spectre Wallet. And there are a lot of wallets that allow this now, but a lot of wallets that don't, sadly. And labeling is so important, because you want to be like, if you want to buy a VPN and your VPN takes Bitcoin and you don't want them to ever even know your identity in the first place, you don't want to pay for them with credit card, and you don't want to pay for them with Bitcoin that you bought on a KYC exchange. Maybe you can pay with them with Bitcoin you bought on Bisq. That would be good. But if you didn't and you want to clean those coins, then what happens? Then you coin join 0.1 Bitcoin, or 0.109 is the current price. And then once you have some clean coins, you use that to pay for the VPN. But guess what? The VPN doesn't cost $5,000 in Bitcoin. It costs $30 for the year or something. Then what? You're left with 4,000, $4,000 worth of coins that now have your identity still isn't known, but the fact that you bought a VPN with those coins, the fact that a VPN was purchased with those coins is now out there. So you'd have to re-clean those coins to get rid of that, or you just have to accept that taint. And that's something that you should be aware of. It's probably okay, but it depends what you go on to do those things with. And clean coins you have to be careful to know, like, your identity still isn't really attached to it, but what are you going to do exactly? You have to be very thoughtful about these things, because this is not you're not using a private bank account, right? Where, yeah, accidents happen, but at least what happens within your bank account is kind of private. With Bitcoin, everything is just super out in the open and public. So if you bought Bitcoins from Bitstamp or Coinbase or anything and you've made a withdrawal to your Bitcoin address and you use a Gmail account, I'm pretty sure that the way those exchanges operate is they send you an email with a confirmation of the transaction saying, hey, we've just sent Bitcoin to this address. We've sent this much Bitcoin to this address. If you use Gmail, that means that the mega surveillance monolith of big data platforms, Google, now knows your Bitcoin address and how much Bitcoin is sitting at it. So you have every reason to then go, yikes, and then take that Bitcoin, stick it in Wasabi here, and clean it. Now, I wish there was more Bitcoin here, and I'm going to have to continue this video at another point, I think, because I need this person to accept the trade, and I think in the UK it's just too late. I could always try and do a Canadian purchase instead. Let's see if there's anything affordable. Someone is accepting. You see, this is a little bit much. I don't want to buy $700 worth of Bitcoin at 15% above market rate. So I'm not about to do that for this video. I'd like to do it and pretend that's like an irrelevant amount of money to me, but it isn't. So I'm going to have to finish this video and pick it up tomorrow when this person in the UK wakes up. So part 2 is going to come soon. All right, so time to get on with it. My trade, my confirmation transaction, the one where I put money in escrow, that just got into the blockchain. So now I have my information that I need. I have the information, the bank details of the person I need to send £510 to. So let's go. This is who I need to pay. This is their name here. I'm going to log on to my phone banking app right now. And this is going to be a pretty boring part of the video while I input all these details, but I'm going to have to do it. And I'm going to send this guy £510, and then I'm going to get me some Bitcoin. Okay, that's their name in. Here's their sort code. I'm so paranoid that I'm doing something that will screw up this guy's OPSEC here. It's a personal account. And I'm going to say the payee is AAA1. Maybe you'd think there'd be a reference here somewhere, but I don't think there is. So I'm not going to save the payee. I'm just going to put in the amount, which is £510. And when would I like this to be sent? I have to send it tomorrow because my banking app thinks that it's the time it is in Canada, and my bank thinks it's the time it is in the UK. So this took me a while to realize, but if I try and send it today, which my banking app allows, I get this message back from my bank going, lol, that was yesterday, we can't send your payment yesterday. So they think they're hilarious. Anyway, here we go. When would I like this to be sent? Okay, apparently I need to actually put in some stuff. So I'm just going to write Bisq as the reference. There we go. Fraud prevention alert. To protect you and other customers, we are carefully monitoring transactions. This transaction has been flagged as high risk. Reason for transaction. Buying goods and services. Why not? Or paying friends and family. I think I'll do buying goods and services. This could be a scam. Buying goods and services. Continue. I'm going to make the payment. My bank is not going. Payee details matched. All right. So I shouldn't have written Bisq. That's a good warning, guys. When you're putting a reference in, when you're making your payment, don't write Bisq. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever done. So don't write Bisq, because your bank will go, Bisq, that's a Bitcoin exchange, isn't it? This must be a fraudulent transaction. So yeah, don't do that. Anyway, confirm. Now I need to type in my password again. And this man now has £510 of mine back to balances. He has my £510. I hope he's having a good time with them, and I hope he decides to send me the money that he's supposed to send me. But yet again, I might have to split this video into 3 parts now, because he is very likely asleep. I'm going to mark the payment as started. The peer confirms message receipt. So this man, I've got to be careful not to say his name, has received my money. And he, when he wakes up in the UK, is going to go, yeah, I've got my £510. Time to send that guy his Bitcoin. And I'll be back with the next step when it happens. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is me finishing the video. Sometime in the middle of the night, this guy accepted my money. He acknowledged receiving it, and he released the funds. So I come back to my Bisq, and this is all there is. I should say there is a great app that Bisq have. I mean, I say great, it's very, very primitive. It's the Bisq notification app. You can install it on Android. I'm not sure if it's available on iPhone. What it does is it literally just dings your phone if something happens with one of your trades. It doesn't tell you any information or anything like that. It's just, literally, you get a notification saying Bisq notification, and usually that means something's happened with your trade. So here we go. It's happened. Keep funds in Bisq wallet or withdraw. So I'm going to keep funds in Bisq wallet. There we go. I did it. I now have some Bitcoin here, and what I'm going to do with them now is, I mean, these are, if you were doing this privately, you'd now have KYC free Bitcoin. I don't, because I've just done this, there's way too much information leaked in the fact that I've made this video. You can figure out, even if I didn't show the actual addresses, you can still figure out what happened here because of the amount of Bitcoin I bought, etc., and the time I bought it. So I'm not going to be treating these as private, and I'm going to do a coin join with it as well, which is annoying for everyone else in that round of coin join, but I think it's worth it for the education. And plus, I'm only removing one layer of anonymity, or one part of the anonymity set. So if there's 50, then it goes down to 49 or whatever. It's okay. It's not going to kill anyone. So here we go. I have some Bitcoin here, and I'm going to withdraw it to my Wasabi wallet. I have my Wasabi wallet here. I have some here, but as we can see, I need 10,900,000 or 11 million sats to do a coin join, and I only have 10.5. Am I saying that right? 10 million sats, 500,000. That's not enough. What I have in my Bisq is another 2 million, so that's easily enough. I only need an extra 500,000 sats to be able to do a coin join here. So I'm going to withdraw that, and then I'm going to show you what a coin join looks like. So just give me a second to do that. I'll be back with the rest of the video when I've done that. Okay, so I processed the withdrawal from Bisq, and now I'm back in Wasabi wallet. What I did there is I just went to receive. You type in the label from Bisq, Bisq, then you generate a new receive address and it will copy it for you. So anyway, now we go to the coin join tab, and as you see, I now have 2 amounts here. This green tick is here because that transaction is confirmed. I did that a while ago. This one is not yet confirmed. I don't know how many confirmations Wasabi requires before it allows you to enter into a coin join round, but I don't know. We just found a block anyway, so that's good. We just found a block right now, and perfect. Oh my god, isn't that lucky when you get a block right at the right time. So it's 20 minutes until the next coin join round. So I'm going to enqueue these selected coins. I'm above the threshold now. I have 11.1 million sats sitting in there, and that's enough for a coin join. So I'm going to click both. Here wouldn't be enough. Here wouldn't be enough. So I need both of these amounts, and that allows me to enter into a round of a coin join. So I've enqueued them. They are now queued. Sometimes the interface can be a little bit buggy, I've found, but you know, strange things can happen. Like a coin join round can happen sooner than you expect. I believe if you hit 100 registered for it before you expect. So the coin join will happen regardless of how many people sign up, I believe. I don't know what the threshold is, but if 20 minutes from now we're only at 39, I think it will still happen. But if we hit 100 sooner than that, I think it will happen right away. So we're registered for this round, and let me just turn off my notifications here. And I'm gonna pause the video again and come back when I'm ready, when the coin join is happening. So see you in a moment. All right, I'm back again. Hello. So we've got 2 minutes left until the coin join happens. I want to talk about a few other bits. When we have CISA, CISA, or cross-input signature aggregation, which is the reigning part of the Schnorr upgrade in Bitcoin, the transaction fees that you pay during every Bitcoin transaction, they instead of all adding up for a giant coin join transaction, they are the same. Collectively, they are no bigger than one signature, which will mean that when you're doing a transaction where you mix inputs with other people, you actually share the fee of one normal transaction between, say, well, in this case, 40 of you. So you actually pay a 40th of the fee you would if you were just doing a regular transaction. So stuff like Wasabi Wallet actually becomes, and CoinJoin transactions actually become cheaper than regular transactions, which is amazing, and I'm really looking forward to that. But for now, they are expensive transactions. There's 41 signatures that are going into this thing, and that's a lot of space in the blockchain. So you all pay about what you would for a normal transaction, and then you do a giant transaction altogether. So we've got 1 minute left, 41 people. My anonymity set is, the target is set to 45. What that means is that Wasabi is going to tell me, the red X at the moment means there's no anonymity set, or anonymity set of 1, meaning there's only one person that is associated with the coin sitting at that address. It's not, if it was 2, that would mean it could be me or someone else. We're aiming for 45, which means anyone spying on these coins goes, it's either this guy or it's 44 other people. One of these 44 other people. The higher that number gets, the better. You can go up to thousands with this if you really want, but you're doing a lot of transactions to do that. So generally, I don't know what I'd guide. I'd say there is no guide, but the higher that number, the more difficult it is for someone to figure out what it is you're doing. So anyway, almost moment of truth here. We've got 10 seconds left. It might get I've seen coin join rounds not go through, but hopefully this one actually does go through. So there we are. 1 second remaining, and now moment of truth. What's going on here? Sometimes, as I said, nothing happens. So we'll see. Connection confirmation. Here we go. It's all happening, guys. Very exciting. I'm doing a coin join. The other 40 people have 1 less anonymity set than they expect in this transaction because someone is publicly participating in this coin join and not respecting the privacy of what's going on here for the other users. But I'm trying my best not to betray at least the addresses involved, though. I imagine if this channel ever blows up, people will troll through videos like this and find various things where I dox myself and other people. That will be annoying, but you know, I think it's worth it for the educational content nonetheless. So here we go. Output registration, signing. We have signed our part of it. We now need everyone else to do that. There's no indication of how far through it we are. I should say the coordinator also takes a fee, as you can see here as well. So where are we at with this? We're just kind of waiting, I would guess. I don't think we need to wait for a block. I don't think that's how it works. I think the coin join can happen once the transaction is published into the network. There we go. So we did it. We did the coin join. The transaction has happened. We label where it comes from, but this is obviously, this now has, what's the anonymity set here? Anonymity set is 41. So that means these coins, there's 40 other people that have exactly the same amount of coins from the same transaction. And no one knows, no one can figure out, looking at the blockchain, that these coins I have came from the coins I put in. And the only thing I know is that the coins I got are not the coins I put in. Someone else got those. That's the only thing I know. We don't have this green tick, we have this white tick, but we do have the green shield. So that's a really good anonymity set. That's 41. If I want to do another round again, I can increase it. So you see there's 33 people that want to go straight away for another round. What do I need? I need 1099, and I don't quite have that. Now, don't make the mistake of joining these two together again, because then this is what they call toxic change, and it's a lot. It's 150,000 sats. It's not so toxic that you'd throw it in the trash, but there's not a lot you can really do with this without, you need to appreciate that this is still connected to your identity. This is change from what happened. The coins that got cleaned are these, and the coins that were left over are these. Unfortunately, I withdrew a little bit too much from Bisq and put too large an amount in for the coin join round. I didn't want to underestimate and not have enough and then not be able to do this demonstration. So I overestimated by 150,000 sats. I'm still a bit PTSD from full blocks and expensive transaction fees, so I overpay everything a bit. This is obviously way over the top. But there we go. That has no anonymity. That is just something that's connected to my identity, that's all. And this is something that isn't, except this is being done publicly, so obviously, as I've said before, if you do it like this, then you're not really getting any privacy. But here we have 0.109 or 109 million sats. No, I don't mean that, do I? I mean 10 million sats, 10 million and 900,000 sats, roughly 11 million sats, that is completely clean, completely unconnected to my identity. I can spend that anywhere, and no one will ever be able to figure out if this was broken off. Like if I had 1,000 bitcoins and I did a coin join with it, I would have 999 bitcoins and 999.1 bitcoins go to something like this, where there would be an anonymity set of 1, and that would be my whole stash again. But then this, I'd have just broken off a small piece, not even 0.01% of my stash. I would have broken off and cleaned, and then that would be unconnected. And what that means is, if you go to a store and you want to spend this 0.1 Bitcoin or some fraction of that, they don't get to look at the blockchain and go, that just came from an 1,000 Bitcoin stash. This guy is absolutely loaded. Don't let him out of the store. He's got, tens of millions of dollars. You want to stop that, and you need privacy to do that. And this is a great way to do it, because this, now, if we look, open details, I'm just going to look at it. I know it's, I'm very sorry for corrupting this whole coin join here, but I'm going to do it. So here we go. This is what a coin join transaction looks like. As you can see, those are all the inputs and those are all the outputs. So a total of 700 grand worth of Bitcoin went into that coin join. One of these is my input, one of those is my output. And everyone puts in random amounts, as you can see. Someone put in 7 Bitcoins, and look, all the amounts that come out, you'll have a lot of matching outputs. All these 109.889, all these are matching, and those are the ones where people can't figure out who's the coin to. It's very simple. You're just putting in a bunch of stuff together, and you're getting out not the same thing back, but you're obfuscating what's going on. So this transaction paid only 2 sats per byte, so it's not going to get in a block for a while. But yeah, this is the process of coin joining. As I said, I would do a demonstration for Samurai. I just can't bring myself to, because they're just such idiots. Nonetheless, if you run a dojo, I think it's called, then it's safe. If you don't, then Samurai is selling you nonsense, because you have to, I believe they end up knowing your xpub, which completely defeats the whole point. Wasabi don't know my xpub. if they knew my xpub, the reason that sucks is because, oh, did I just betray a bunch of stuff? No, I'm all right. I get coins back to the same wallet that I receive tainted coins, and then I coin join them and get back clean coins, but they're both addresses generated by Wasabi, right? And if Wasabi knows my xpub, they can know all of my change addresses. I mean, it's just, you don't want them to know your xpub. You know, I mean, the Wasabi wallet obviously knows my xpub, but the point is, no one remote knows it. When you use Samurai without Dojo, I believe your xpub gets uploaded to either the coordinator or Samurai themselves. I'm not actually sure which, but either way, that completely ruins your privacy, because then they take the coins that get clean, the dirty coins, they clean them, but they know, oh, they came from address A and they went to address B. Address A and address B both belong to the same xpub, so that's the same person. That completely defeats the whole point of doing a coin join. It's still pretty good. There's nothing in the blockchain publicly exposing you, but you're still exposing something to someone that doesn't need to know that. And it still compromises your privacy just a little bit. So there we go. That's pretty much it. That was a demonstration of how to use Bisq and how to use Wasabi Wallet. I hope people start using these services. It's not straightforward. It's not as easy. But on the other hand, you don't need to upload your passport anywhere to do this. You don't need to upload your driver's license. You don't need to upload a utility bill. You can just straight up go and buy some Bitcoin and withdraw it to your wallet. And that's the way it should be. And this is why I always harp on about wanting the government to make Bitcoin illegal, because then everyone starts using Bisq and then we get liquidity. Because right now on Bisq, what do we have? We have, you know, it's a very, very low liquidity market where everything is way above what it should be. It's 2% to buy a little bit of Bitcoin and Canadian dollars, and then it goes straight. That's one offer. Then you move immediately up to 8.5%, 9%. You know, it's very expensive to buy on Bisq. If it was the only option, it wouldn't be. Anyway, I've got to jump off for now. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and like if you get the chance to. It really helps the channel out. Peace. Oh, before I finish, I wanted to just add one thing here. If you then go to withdraw your coins, here is a handy warning. I go to the send tab. I can send my mixed coins. I can send my toxic change. But what happens if I try to send both? Wasabi sends a great warning saying merging unmixed coins with mixed ones will undo the mixes. So this is what we mean by coin control. You have to be careful with what you do in order to not create a link in the blockchain again and undo the privacy you've just purchased. So please be careful about doing that as well. It's nice that Wasabi gives a warning here. Yeah, coin control. I suggest using Spectre. You can upload your xpub into Spectre from Wasabi, and then Spectre gives you a much better ability to label stuff, in my opinion, than Wasabi, because Spectre is just brilliant that way. Not that Wasabi isn't pretty good too. Everything's better than, let's be honest, Bitcoin Core, which is terrible for labeling. Though I haven't used it as a wallet in years, so maybe it's better now. But who uses Bitcoin Core without Spectre as a front end anyway? It's just brilliant. Sparrow are doing pretty well as well. But anyway, I'm digressing. You have to be careful you have to be careful to treat your coins appropriately once they are clean. If I go on to buy something with this 10 million sats right here, I have to be careful, because I'll get some change from that unless I spend all of it, and then if I buy something else with the change, those two things are linked in the blockchain unless I go and clean again. So just remember that, and remember that it does make sense to keep clean coins around, just to have them generally, especially in times of low fees like current times. So if you have maybe 3 or 4 Bitcoin lying around, go clean yourself 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 Bitcoin, something like that. Just keep some clean coins around. You never know when you need them. And this speaks to something that people often do with these privacy coins like Monero, is they just keep them so as to add to their privacy. Because if you go and buy a privacy coin and then use it straight away, that's a risk. That undoes a lot of the privacy benefits. Like if you're talking about Monero, if you go and buy it and then use it straight away, each Monero block has only like 3 transactions in it. So, I mean, you're quite exposing yourself depending on how you bought the Monero. So it's very easy to use a privacy coin in a way where you don't have the privacy you think you do, and you have the illusion of security. And, you know, that's often a problem. So be careful. With privacy, you don't just remain private forever. That's the point. Let's see if I can switch back here. There we go. Yeah. With privacy, you need to be careful. You need to maintain privacy after having used privacy tools. But that's about it for this video. So yeah, thanks so much guys for watching, and see you on the next one. Remember to request a topic if there's something you want me to cover.